When engaging in business collaborations with Chinese manufacturers, suppliers or distributors, protecting intellectual property, IP, confidential information, and business relationships is critical. NNN agreements, which include non-disclosure, non-use, and non-circumvention provisions, are specifically designed to safeguard sensitive business information and ensure compliance from Chinese partners. However, the enforceability and effectiveness of an NNN agreement in China depend heavily on its language and legal structure. Chinese courts explicitly require contracts and all evidence submitted in legal proceedings to be in the Chinese language. While foreign language contracts can be used in business dealings, any dispute resolution in China mandates that the agreement be translated into Chinese, often by court-appointed translators. This requirement strongly favors having a legally verified Chinese language version of the NNN agreement, either as a standalone document or as the official version in a bilingual contract. Today we will explore the importance of using Chinese as the official language for contracts in China, the advantages of legally verified Chinese language NNN agreements, and how they align with the preferences and requirements of Chinese courts, why Chinese language contracts are required in Chinese courts. 1. Legal proceedings require Chinese language evidence. Chinese courts mandate that all evidence, including contracts, submitted during legal proceedings must be in Mandarin. This requirement means contracts drafted in English or other foreign languages must be translated into Chinese for submission. The court will rely on the Chinese version of the contract as the primary evidence, regardless of the original language of the agreement. 2. Risks of relying on translations. When contracts are not drafted in Chinese, they must be translated, often by court-appointed translators, during disputes. This introduces several risks. Loss of control over content. Court translators may misinterpret or simplify complex legal terms, altering the original meaning of the contract. Ambiguity and errors. Translation errors or ambiguities can arise, leading to weaker protection for the foreign company. Reduced enforceability. Any inaccuracies in the translated Chinese version could lead the court to misinterpret or partially enforce the contract's provisions. These risks make it critical to have a Chinese language version of the agreement that is precise, accurate, and legally verified. Drafting the NNN agreement in Chinese or as part of a bilingual contract where the Chinese version is the legally binding document provides several advantages. 1. Ensures full control over content drafting. The agreement in Chinese ensures that all terms are represented accurately. Unlike translated versions which may introduce unintended interpretations, a Chinese language contract reflects the original intent of the parties without ambiguity, prevents court-appointed translators from altering the meaning of critical provisions. 2. Reduces risk of ambiguity. When contracts are written in multiple languages, inconsistencies can arise between versions. By using Chinese as the primary language, the contract avoids disputes over which version is authoritative, provides a single, clear document for the court to interpret, reducing the risk of misinterpretation. 3. Aligns with Chinese courts' preferences. Chinese courts prefer to base their decisions on contract terms written clearly in Mandarin. A Chinese language contract streamlines legal proceedings by eliminating the need for translation, demonstrates the foreign party's understanding and compliance with Chinese legal requirements. While legal expertise is essential for drafting Chinese language NNN agreements, Drafting an NNN agreement in Chinese requires more than simple language translation. It demands legal expertise and a deep understanding of Chinese contract law to ensure that the agreement is enforceable and aligned with local regulations. Here's why. 1. Precise legal terminology. Chinese law has specific legal terminology that must be used to ensure enforceability. For example, definitions of confidential information must align with Chinese legal standards. The scope of non-use and non-circumvention provisions must be clearly articulated using terms recognized by Chinese courts. Without proper legal knowledge, even minor inaccuracies in terminology can weaken the agreement's enforceability. 2. Tailored to Chinese contract law. A legally sound Chinese language NNN agreement complies with the requirements of Chinese contract law, such as structuring jurisdiction and arbitration provisions to ensure disputes are resolved in China, including terms that are enforceable under local regulations, such as confidentiality obligations and post-termination restrictions. 3. Avoiding common drafting mistakes. Agreements drafted by non-specialists or translated from foreign languages may inadvertently include vague or ambiguous clauses, terms that conflict with Chinese legal standards, provisions that are unenforceable under Chinese law. By involving a legal expert with specialist knowledge, these pitfalls can be avoided, ensuring the agreement is robust and enforceable. A legally verified Chinese language NNN agreement is reviewed and approved by legal professionals to ensure it meets the highest standards of accuracy and compliance. Key benefits include 1. Alignment with Chinese legal standards. Verification ensures the agreement adheres to Chinese contract law, addressing issues such as confidentiality obligations, proper structuring of dispute resolution mechanisms, enforceability of non-use and non-circumvention provisions. 2. Enhanced enforceability. By eliminating ambiguities and ensuring precise legal language, a legally verified agreement is more likely to be upheld by Chinese courts. 3. Streamlined legal proceedings. A verified Chinese language agreement simplifies legal proceedings by providing the court with a document that is ready for immediate interpretation and enforcement without the need for translation or additional review. How a Chinese language NNN agreement protects your business. A legally verified Chinese language NNN agreement provides comprehensive protection against common risks in China. 1. Safeguarding intellectual property. The non-disclosure and non-use provisions protect sensitive information, ensuring that proprietary designs and technologies are not disclosed or used without authorization. The Chinese partner cannot produce competing products or sell excess units on unauthorized markets. 2. Preventing circumvention. The non-circumvention clause ensures that the Chinese partner cannot bypass the foreign company to engage directly with customers, suppliers, or distributors, preserving the company's business relationships. 3. Avoiding misinterpretation. By drafting the agreement directly in Chinese, the risk of misinterpretation or ambiguity is eliminated. This ensures that the terms are clear and enforceable as intended. To provide maximum protection and enforceability, an NNN agreement should include 1. Bilingual structure. If a bilingual agreement is used, the Chinese version must be designated as the legally binding document. This ensures enforceability in Chinese courts while allowing the foreign party to reference the English version. 2. Precise definitions. Clearly define what constitutes confidential information, the scope of permissible uses for shared information, Actions prohibited under the Non-Circumvention Clause. 3. Jurisdiction and arbitration. Specify Chinese jurisdiction for legal disputes to align with Chinese legal requirements. Arbitration through recognized bodies, such as the China International Economic and Trade Arbitration Commission, (CIETAC), to streamline dispute resolution. 4. Post-termination obligations. Ensure that obligations related to confidentiality, non-use and non-circumvention continue after the termination of the agreement, providing long-term protection. NNN agreements are critical for protecting foreign companies' interests in various business contexts, including 1. Technology transfer. Safeguards proprietary technologies shared with Chinese partners, ensuring they are not replicated or misused. 2. Manufacturing outsourcing prevents overproduction and unauthorized sales, protecting the foreign company's market position and brand integrity. 3. Product development. Ensures that designs, prototypes, and trade secrets remain confidential during collaborative development projects. 4. Market entry protects branding, customer information, and distribution strategies from being exploited by local partners. 5. Supplier relationships. Ensures that sensitive information shared with suppliers is not disclosed or used for competitive purposes. For foreign companies doing business in China, having a legally verified Chinese language NNN agreement is not just advisable, it is essential. Chinese courts require contracts to be in Mandarin for legal proceedings, and relying on translations introduces significant risks of misinterpretation and weakened enforceability. Drafting the agreement in Chinese with input from legal experts ensures precision, compliance with Chinese law, and robust protection for intellectual property and business relationships. By prioritizing a Chinese language agreement, foreign companies can streamline potential legal proceedings, avoid costly disputes, and establish secure, enforceable partnerships in the Chinese market. Contact us if you need help with drafting of contracts that follows Chinese laws and are enforceable in China, background investigation of Chinese companies, protecting patents, trademarks, verification of contracts to the law in China, or help with other legal challenges that you have in China. If you require our assistance or have further questions about our services, please do not hesitate to contact me at genericnchub.com. We look forward to hearing from you and helping your business succeed in China.